In this video, we'll be discussing about nature of roots for the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c where a is not equal to 0. The first point is if discriminant d is greater than 0, then the roots are real and distinct. Roots are real and distinct. Okay, this can be explained very easily that alpha is minus b plus root d divided by 2a and beta is, let's say, minus b minus root d divided by 2a. Because d is a finite value and d is greater than 0, thus root d plus minus will also be a finite real number. Okay, so the alpha and beta will be distinct values and obviously real, hence we will get real and distinct roots. Okay, moving on to the next point, if d is equal to 0, then what will happen is alpha will become minus b by 2a and beta will also become minus b by 2a. As a comma b are real numbers, hence minus b by 2a will also be a real number, but both the values are equal, thus we say that the roots are real and equal. Moving on to the next point, if d is less than 0, so what happens if d is less than 0? Your root is minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a. Okay, alpha comma beta is minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a. So what will happen in this case? Let's say I'll use an example to explain this. We have an equation x square plus x plus 1 is equal to 0. If you find the root of this equation, you will get minus 1 plus minus under root of minus 3 divided by 2a. So this will give us minus 1 plus minus iota root 3 divided by 2. So what you will get is under root of minus 1 will come with some factor which is a positive value. Okay, so minus 1 will come with some factor which is a positive value. Hence we will get values. We will get some values which are non-real. We call these numbers as non-real numbers. We call them as complex numbers. Okay. So it is very clear, if d is less than 0, so roots will be complex in nature. Or you can say non-real in nature. So first 3 points discuss about if d is greater than 0, roots will be real and distinct. If d is equal to 0, roots are real and equal. If d is less than 0, roots are complex in nature. Now further moving into further detailing about these points which we have discussed above. Let's say if d is a perfect square. Now I want to see what will happen if d is a perfect square number. Okay, so obviously d is greater than 0, and now with the d greater than 0 we have one more condition, that d is a perfect square and a comma b comma c belongs to rational numbers. Capital Q denotes rational numbers. So we have d is a perfect square and a comma b comma c belongs to rational number. So what we will get is, now our roots are minus b plus minus under root of say k square divided by 2a. Now because d is a perfect square, so I have considered d as k square where k is some rational number. Perfect square of a rational number. Okay. So what we will get is, we will get minus b plus minus k divided by 2a. Because a, b and c all are rational numbers, so this number will also be a rational number. So hence we can say that if d is a perfect square and a, b, c belongs to q, then definitely our roots are rational. Our roots are rational numbers. You can take an example to check this out, but it is very clear that if d is a perfect square, we can consider d as k square. So our roots will be minus b plus minus k divided by 2. Rational number plus rational number is a rational number. Dividing it with a rational number will give us a rational number. Hence roots are rational. Now next question arises, if d is not a perfect square and still a, b, c belongs to rational number, so what will happen? So our roots will be minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a. Because d is not a perfect square, so what will happen? Say if I'll write root say 24, this is not a perfect square. So what will happen? This will become 2 root 6. Okay, so this root term will be present in the roots. This under root 6 term will be present in the roots. So what will happen is, if under root 6 is there, under root 2 is there, under root 3 is there, and this radical sign is not going, these roots will be irrational in nature. Okay, the first thing is these roots will be irrational provided a, b, c belongs to rational numbers. Now obviously if you see, the first root is of the form minus b by 2a plus root d divided by 2a, and the other root is of the form minus b by 2a minus root divided by 2a. Hence we can say that the roots will be of the form m plus root n comma m minus root n, where m comma n belongs to rational number. I hope this is clear, that if D is not a perfect square and ABC belongs to rational number, then our roots will be of the form m plus root n, m minus root n. Here I want to state an example also. For example, if I say, if one root of the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where abc belongs to real number and a is not equal to 0, is 2 plus root 3, what is the other root? Now in this problem, we have the condition that abc belongs to real number. Okay, but in the point above we have discussed that ABC belongs to rational number. If ABC belongs to rational number, then the other root must be 2 minus root 3. Why? Because let's take an example. Let's say we have alpha as 2 plus root 3 and beta as 2 minus root 3. Then we will get sum as 4 and product as 1. Then the equation arising from this is x square minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Now you must be getting to know this thing, that if roots are of the form 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3, the coefficient of these equations are coming as a rational number. The coefficient of the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c are coming out to be a rational number. But if I say the coefficients are real number, then it is not necessary that the second root will be 2 minus root 3. For example, if I take alpha as 2 plus root 3 and beta as 2, now the sum of the roots is 4 plus root 3 and product of the root is 4 plus 2 root 3. Now my equation will become x square minus sx, which is 4 plus root 3x plus 4 plus 2 root 3 is equal to 0. Now this is a real possible equation, or this is a real possible quadratic equation. You can see it, this is a quadratic equation with the coefficient as real number, which is stated in this problem. Hence, in first go, most of the student attempts this answer in this problem. They say that the other root must be 2 minus root 3. But it is necessary to know that if ABC belongs to Q, if I have written here in the problem, ABC belongs to rational number, then it must have answer 2 minus root 3. But in this case, because ABC is a real number, then any real number can be the root of this equation. Hence, the answer for this problem will be D. So, I hope you are getting to know this point very clearly, that if ABC belongs to rational number, then only the roots will be of the form m plus root and m minus root n, provided D is not a perfect square. Now the next point is, if D is less than 0 and ABC belongs to real number, then the roots of this equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 obviously are complex numbers, but complex number are also of the form m plus iota n and m minus iota n, where iota is under root minus 1 and m comma n are real numbers. Okay. The point is, if D is negative, then the quadratic equation will have a complex root. Complex roots for real coefficient equations will always exist in conjugate pairs. We call these numbers as conjugate pairs. If a complex number is defined as a plus iota b, where a comma b are real numbers and iota is under root minus 1, then conjugate of z is a minus iota b. It is necessary, if ABC belongs to real number, then the roots, complex roots, will always exist in conjugate pair. Let's explain this with the help of an example. Let's say if for a quadratic equation alpha is 2 plus iota 3 and beta is 2 minus iota 3, then the sum of the roots is alpha plus beta, which is 4, and product of root is alpha beta, which is 2 plus iota 3 into 2 minus iota 3. For complex number, you can multiply them as a plus b into a minus b. It will be a formula a square minus b square. Because iota is under root minus 1, hence iota square will be minus 1. So this will become 4 plus 9, which is 13, and the equation we will get is equation we will get is x square minus 4x plus 13 equal to 0. Okay, so if you see, the coefficient of this equation are real numbers only. So if a root is 2 plus iota 3 and the other root is 2 minus iota 3, we must get the coefficient as real numbers. But let's say we have alpha as 2 plus iota 3 and beta as 3. So one root is complex number here and the other root is real number. So the sum will be 5 plus iota 3 and product will be, direct you can multiply, 6 plus iota 9. Now our equation will become x square minus 5 plus iota 3x plus 6 plus iota 9 is equal to 0. Now this equation has the coefficients, the leading coefficient is 1 here and the other coefficients are complex number. Okay, so you must be clear on this thing that if one root is 2 plus iota 3 and if we make the other root as a real number, the coefficient will not be real. Now if we move on to the condition which we were going through, the condition is that if d is negative, obviously in the roots minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a, this term is negative, so this will result into iota. This will result into an imaginary number. Okay. The root and a, b, c are real numbers, then root must be of the form m plus iota n and m minus iota n, because these are conjugate pairs, and if the roots won't be in conjugate pairs, then the coefficient won't be real. So following this condition, we must have the roots in complex roots in the form of conjugate pairs. Now moving on to the next point, number of real roots for any equation with real coefficient. Now here I want to discuss, if we have a quadratic equation or say cubic equation, how many real roots are possible for it. If complex roots are there, how many they will be. Okay, so as we have discussed in the previous point that complex root always exist in conjugate pairs. If the coefficients are real, complex roots will always exist in conjugate pairs. There will be, if one root is a plus iota b, then the other root must be a minus iota b. Now for this equation, for this quadratic equation, either we will have two real roots, they can be distinct or they can be equal. Okay, this is possible. We can have two real roots, or there is a possibility that we have 0 real root and 2 complex roots. Okay, is this clear? Because there cannot be one real and one complex. Why there cannot be one real and one complex? Because all the coefficients are real and complex roots always exist in conjugate pairs. Now for a cubic equation, what will happen? Either we will have 3 real roots. Okay, or what is the possibility? Can we have 2 real and 1 complex? 2 real and 1 complex is not possible. Why not possible? Because if there is a complex root will always exist in conjugate pairs. Hence 2 real and 1 complex won't exist. So what will exist? We can have 2 complex and 1 real roots. Okay, so we can have 3 real roots or 2 complex and 1 real roots. For degree 4 equation, either we will have 4 real roots or we can have 2 real or 2 complex roots. Okay, because complex roots exist in conjugate pairs, or we can have 0 real and 4 complex roots. Similarly, if I say for a degree 5 equation, ax5 plus say bx4 plus cx cube plus dx square plus ex plus f, understood. Here it is understood that all the coefficients are real. I am discussing only for real coefficients. So we can have 5 real, and next what is the possibility? We can have 3 real 2 complex, because complex exists in conjugate pairs, or we can have 1 real and 4 complex. These are the 3 possibility for a degree 5 equation. Moving on to the next point, if we have a quadratic equation with a as 1 and b comma c as integer and d is a perfect square, then the roots must be integer. Okay, we can explain this with the help of an example. Let's say I have an example, x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. For a quadratic equation to have integral roots, the coefficient must be integer, because if in an equation you put an integer, if you put an integer in this equation, then only if the coefficients are integer, then only it will become equal to 0. If the coefficients are not integer, they are rational number, there is a possibility that it won't be becoming equal to 0. Okay, further we have condition that b and c are integer and we keep a as 1. Then it become easy for us, because if we keep a as 1, then if d is a perfect square, the numerator will be divisible by 2, because you will get the root as minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a. If a is 1, then minus b plus minus root d, which is a perfect square term if d is a k square. Okay, so this will become minus b plus minus k divided by 2. Automatically the numerator will be divisible by 2, hence the roots must be integer. So I have taken example xk minus 5x plus 6. Let's see, a is 1, b is minus 5, c is 6, hence all the terms are integer with a as 1. If you calculate d, it will become b square minus 4ac, which is 1, so which is also a perfect square. Now if you calculate the roots of this equation, you can easily calculate x minus 2 into x minus 3 is equal to 0, hence roots are integer. You can take so many examples. Let's take one more example. X square minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now the roots, a is 1, b is minus 1, c is minus 2. If you calculate d, d will become b square minus 4ac, which is 3, which is 9, sorry, d is 9. And if you calculate the roots alpha comma beta, it will be x minus 2 into x plus 1 is equal to 0, hence the roots are 2 comma minus 1, which are integer. So always remember this property, it is quite important in solving problems also. If you want to check whether an equation, quadratic equation, has integral roots, then always make first the leading coefficient. A is known as leading coefficient, or for a cubic equation, if we write ax cube plus bxk plus cx plus d equal to 0, then a is the leading coefficient. Leading coefficient means the highest degree coefficient of the highest degree term. So a equal to 1 is the leading coefficient. Make leading coefficient as 1, b and c must be integer, and d should be a perfect square. Then definitely the roots will be integer. Now till now we have discussed about the roots of a quadratic equation and their nature, whether they are rational, whether they are real, whether they are complex number, how the if they exist in complex number form, whether they will be conjugate pairs or not. These kind of things we have already discussed. One more thing I want to discuss here is that if we have an equation of the form, say x square minus say 5x plus iota 6, there is a coefficient which is complex, then directly you can use the formula minus b plus minus root d divided by 2a to calculate the roots. There is quite a possibility that the roots will be complex also if the coefficients are complex numbers, and they need not to be complex conjugate, because if the coefficients are real only and d is negative, then only they will be complex conjugate. So for any kind of quadratic equation, whether the coefficients are real or complex, you can directly use the formula minus b plus minus root d by 2a. Now moving on to the next concept, which is identity in quadratic equation. If ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is an equation having more than 2 roots. Now this statement, what this statement means is that once you look at an equation, it will appear as a quadratic equation. The highest degree in the equation will be 2 only. Okay, so you will be thinking that okay, this equation has degree 2, it must be having 2 roots. But suddenly you can find the other roots also for that particular equation. Okay, you can, like if you have tried 0 and it was becoming the root of that equation, hence what will happen that you have found out 3 roots for that particular equation. Now if you try the 4th one, it will also become a root of this equation. So if you have an equation and you find out more than 2 roots for a quadratic equation, then what will happen? It will become an identity in X. Identity in X means this is satisfied for all X belongs to real numbers. But which statements or which expressions are called as identity? Like you might have heard of sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. This is known as identity for all theta belonging to R, because this statement is satisfied for all the theta for any real number theta, sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So similarly, this quadratic equation will be satisfied for all the real numbers. Okay, so hence it must have infinite roots. The second condition which comes out is that this equation must have infinite roots. And the third condition which will come out is as a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0 and c is equal to 0. So what will happen is now a will be 0 also, b will be 0 also and c will be 0 also. So this equation on simplification will appear as 0x square plus 0x plus 0 is equal to 0. Now in this equation, if you see clearly, You say, sir, you must be thinking that, sir, you have taught in the beginning that ax k plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation if a is not equal to 0. Now this concept of identity in quadratic equation appears because there are some equations on if you look at them, they will be looking as they are a quadratic, like they are quadratic term, they are quadratic equation. Okay, but when you simplify them, you will get this expression 0xk plus 0x plus 0 is equal to 0. Now if in this equation you will put x as 1, what will you get? If you will put x as 1, what you will get? 0 into 1 square plus 0 into 1 plus 0 is equal to 0. So this will become 0. If you will put x as 2, you will get 0 plus 2 square, 0 into 2 plus 0 is equal to 0. If you put 3, 0 square, 0, 3 plus 0 is equal to 0. So definitely if you put all the values of x, it will always be satisfied. It will always be satisfied. So hence we can say that if axk plus bx plus c is equal to 0, okay, is an equation having more than 2 roots, then definitely this equation is an identity in x, and this will hold for all real numbers. This must have infinite roots also, okay, and definitely this equation will be in the form of 0x square plus 0x plus 0 equal to 0. Okay, now I will give you an example for that. Now look at this example, x minus a into x minus b upon c minus a c minus b plus x minus b into x minus c upon a minus c, x minus a upon b minus c equal to 1. Now if I say, now if you see the degree of this particular equation, what will happen is you multiply these two terms, you will get degree 2. In this term also you will get degree 2, and this term also you will get degree 2. So you must be very sure that this is a quadratic equation because we are getting degree 2. Now if I put x is equal to c, now see what will happen. If you put x equal to c, the first term will become c minus a c minus b upon c minus c minus b, which is 1. This will become c minus c, which is 0. This will become c minus c, which is 0. So 1 is equal to 1. Because left hand side is equal to right hand side and x equal to c is satisfying this equation, hence x equal to c is the root of this equation. So this equation we find out first root, which is c. Now if you put x is equal to b, what will happen? This first term will become 0, the second term will also become 0, and the third term will become 1, which is equal to 1. Hence this equation has one more root, which is b. If you put x is equal to a, what will happen? This term will become 0, the last term will become 0 also, and the middle term will become 1, which is equal to 1. Hence this equation has root a. Now if you try to you can pause the video for a while and you try to put 0. This will set it. If you put 0 in this equation, then also it will become 1 is equal to 1. If you put x is equal to 1, this will also become 1 equal to 1. Hence what we are finding out is that this equation is resulting as 1 for all the values of x. So definitely if you simplify this equation, this will result as 0x square plus 0x plus 1 is equal to 1, and if you take this 1 on the right hand side, on the left hand side, this will become 0x square plus 0x plus 0 is equal to 0. Hence we can say that this is an identity in x. It will satisfy for all the values of x. So in any quadratic equation, if you find more than 2 roots, then it will be an identity in x, and it will be of the form 0x square plus 0x plus 0 equal to 0. Similarly, if I say I have a cubic equation, ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0. Okay, and you found out 4 roots for this particular cubic equation. Okay, we have find out 4 roots for this particular cubic equation. Then definitely, because it can have maximum of 3 roots, you have already found out 4 roots. This will be an identity in x. It will have infinite roots. Okay, and this equation will be of the form 0x cube plus 0x square plus 0x plus 0 is equal to 0. I hope this concept is clear.